I will tell you that Q2 is the most dangerous quarter for every solopreneur, small business owner, contractor, or consultant, because it is truly the telling of whether you're going to have a fantastic year or not. That's what we're going to tackle today on Amplify Your Marketing Message, so that if you're not in high momentum, you take immediate corrective action. I'm going to show you what to focus on to get into making this an awesome year, because honestly, every single day counts. This is Amplify Your Marketing Message, and I am your host, Campbell Rapin. I'm the owner of Clear Acceleration, Inc. I am an entrepreneur myself, and I work with independent business owners to create the business foundations that lead to consistent client growth. And this is why I believe that Q2 is such a dangerous quarter for most business owners. And it's this: business generally happens over a 90-day cycle. And so the momentum that you have in your business right now in Q2 is based on the activities you started in Q1. If you had great focus on the right things, you're celebrating, high five, having an awesome month, an awesome quarter, and you see this year being your best year yet. And I do have amazing clients that I'm celebrating. Their biggest problem these days is I have so many awesome, well-qualified leads I want to work with. I need to grow my team and scale. And that's a beautiful problem to be solving. However, that's not what I see outside of my clients. What I'm seeing in the marketplace is the danger zone. And here's what it means. Everyone starts the year with high hopes. This is going to be my year. And yet we wasted January. And you might be thinking, I'm doing all the right things. I'm busy. But if you are not focused on the two things that predict revenue, you are not seeing consistent client growth, profitability, and new and renewal in your business. And here's what happens. I will tell you, two things predict your client revenue: how many people you are meeting that are the right people who have a solution that they're seeking, that you are qualified to help guide them to achieve. And number two, how many offers to those qualified people are you making? That's it. Business is really elegantly simple. You've heard me say that before. But so often what happens is we get really distracted. And if Q2 isn't rocking in your business, I want you to get honest and go back and look at what has been the pattern for the first 5 months of the year and count out how many people did you meet that were qualified. Are you in the right rooms is a question you need to answer. And number two, how many offers have you made and what has been the success rate? Take stock, because if you continue to do what you're doing now, you are running towards a cliff. And if this doesn't get corrected immediately, and I will tell you, every day that you don't correct this matters for your year, for your self-worth, and how you feel about the business. And honestly, the people you need to serve are waiting. You run into this really big danger zone, which is, if you're in North America or somewhere in the Northern Hemisphere, you're starting to see longer days, nicer days. And if you have family and holidays planned, you're going to say, it's okay, I don't have a busy business right now. I'm going to take the time off. And I am not at all saying don't take time off. Honestly, take a lot of time out of your business, but build the business to support you stepping away. If you don't know how to do that, that's exactly what I work with my clients on, is to build the foundations to have the business you want and the lifestyle you need. You're going to take the summer off without clients in the pipeline. And your pipeline starts to dissipate. And when it dissipates, guess what happens? You come back in September and say this: 2024 is going to be an awesome year. Let's start focusing on what's going to happen 4 months from now. And it is crazy. And you might be thinking, oh, Christine, not in a million years, that me. Wake up. It is probably you. And I know, because I see it time and time again. And then we also say, no business happens in December. And honestly, we are waiting to get started, and we are waiting for someone else to be the engine. And this is it. Wake up. You are the engine, and every day matters. Q2 is the fundamental make or break of the year, and every day matters. So I want to dial it down for you. If you are not celebrating more leads than you know what to do with and not feeling in high momentum, let me give you the business fundamentals that I work with my clients on every single day. Number one is Business 101. What predicts your revenue is the activity that are focused around income producing movement. That is number one. How many people are you meeting of the right kind that are actively looking for solutions? Because recognize and remember, only 3% of people are ready to buy at any one time. You must be building this pipeline. You must be building the audience. You must be building an audience of buyers so that at any month of the year, you have new growth. That's number one. Number two is you need to recognize that it comes down to you must be making offers consistently and understand the value that that offer is focused around and the urgency to solve it. Solving the issue and getting the result and you positioning yourself as the must hire improves your conversion rate. And, truthfully, if you don't strike while the iron is hot, i.e. there's a crisis and a need that is high, urgency is every day costs me something, you're a nice to have product. And I'm telling you, that's a dangerous place to be also as a business owner. So focus in on recognizing, and step number one coming out of this podcast on Amplify Your Marketing Messages, audit. Get clear. How have you been spending your time in the last 5 months? And get honest if you have a gap, because dialing it in on those two things, exclude everything else until you start to see the engine start firing consistently and inquiries about what is it like to work with you start happening in your business. If you need some help, absolutely reach out. Let's have a conversation. But understand that fundamental piece of the pie. The second thing I want to talk about is understanding what are the 3 building blocks that drive performance to better results on the foundations of meeting the right people and making offers that convert. And it's this. Even if you're like most of my clients who are celebrating massive momentum, more leads qualified than they know what to do with, and huge exponential growth in their business, which is a solvable problem. I would rather have solvable problems than not have the problems at all. It's recognizing the importance of getting into the right rooms, getting clear on what is the tipping point or the intersection, as I often call it, where your client realizes the line in the sand gets drawn for the maybe 1,000th time. I can't stay in my current course of action. I need to change something or do something different because the results are not performing. You need to get really clear on that. You need to spend time there. And I mean a lot of time. As I've said before on this podcast, if you're in momentum, the tendency when you have lots of leads is to take your foot off the gas. And I'm telling my clients all week, don't do that. Stay in the movement. You can solve the capacity problem and you can set expectations with leads who see you as the must hire and talk about when you can bring them on board and succeed them. And most will work with you around that flexibility because they too are really a little intimidated and scared that they might actually have to start. And so if you say, we can start in 6 weeks, they'll say, great, I'll start in 6 weeks. And you can solve that problem. But remember, 50% in that high momentum space, you need to still be spending on audience building. 50%. Don't take your foot off the gas. And it does not mean that you're working 24/7, but you're strategically focused on getting into rooms 50% of your time, whether that is I'm working 3 days this week or I'm working 3 hours this week. It's summer and I'm taking some time out and spending weekends with my family camping or doing things that you enjoy. If you are not already in momentum, stop the presses. Are you ready? Stop the presses. You need to be spending 70% or more of your day simply on audience building, but you need to be strategic about this. It's not enough to just say I was visible if you're not attracting the right people and you're not in the right rooms. And we're going to talk about that in more detail in a second. But you have to stay in visibility. That's number one. Number two is you have to get really dialed in your marketing. And remember what the purpose of marketing is. Sometimes we get really lost in the shininess of marketing, but marketing is about moving somebody to first spark their curiosity and move that curiosity to a buying decision. And we want that buying decision to be you as the service provider, freelancer, consultant, or contractor as viewed as the must hire. If it is purely entertainment or knowledge sharing marketing, you're not going to see that transition from curiosity to paid client. And paid clients is what we're looking for. That's what will keep you in the focus that 2023 is going to be an awesome year, best year yet. And every day counts, my friends. But marketing and mastering your messages is building block number 2. Building block number 3 is that you have to be really clear on what does your buyer need. And instead of thinking I'm selling something, which I know is a big shift a lot of people really struggle with, I want you to think about creating an environment where somebody's ready to buy. And how can you curate that? How can you get really clear on focusing on the value and stop getting lost in the how and justifying? Know where your market's at and get them started. Get them moving. Their first win is more important than the unicorn you want to sell them. The unicorn is maybe too far right now, but they will grow in faith and trust that that unicorn is possible if you work with somebody in a committed relationship. So understand those 3 foundations are what we focus on. They're what you need to dial in on, and every day counts in getting this. Because if you're in Q2, the danger quarter, and you are not seeing consistent client growth, which is, I will tell you what I'm seeing in the marketplace, because I'm watching people disappear. I'm watching people step back from their business, and it is killing me. And it's the biggest heartbreak I have as a business mentor, saying you can solve this. You can turn this around right now. It takes action and commitment, and you deciding to be the engine and saying my growth of my business, the people I want to impact, the money that will follow is non-negotiable. I need to get support. So here's what support looks like, because if you are not seeing consistent client growth in your business right now, only 3 reasons are driving that. Number 1 is you don't know how. You don't know how to get into the right rooms. You don't know what to be saying to the people to get them moving from curiosity to a buying decision. And maybe you don't even know what to offer. If that is the case, those are knowledge-based problems. Staying in the I just don't know how camp is lazy, because it's a knowledge problem, and knowledge is everywhere. Get the knowledge you need and move. And if you need support, that is what we offer. So you know you have a good entry point, which is simply come up and have a conversation with us. You can find our details at www.christinecampbellrapin.com. And let's start with a mini session where we can brainstorm some of the things, identify the gaps, and if it's right, let's make an offer to work long-term together. But solve the how, if that's you. Number 2 is where I think most of you might be, which is I'm doing stuff. I honestly feel really busy. My calendar's pretty full. I show up days in my business, but something isn't leading you to client growth. It isn't leading you to offers, and maybe you're making offers, but they're not being accepted. If you continue to do that, you will fall off the cliff that is coming towards you. And so staying that course, even when you're busy, but busy on the wrong things, you've got to see, because it's not leading you to the results you want. So I will tell you, if you're in that camp, one of the hardest things is to see where you're going off course. But a course correction is what is needed. Small fine tunes, the iteration of that you led them somewhere, but you didn't cross the line. You didn't make the right invitation. The pace was off. You might not be in the right room. This is a solvable problem. And so if you're wobbling and going, oh, I just don't know, I will tell you right now, just take it on faith and what I know about business. This is a solvable problem. You have to solve it. And working with a thinking partner is a great way to do that. Mentorship is the ultimate accelerator, somebody who understands the business fundamentals to help you lay the foundations to say, I'm doing lots of the right things, but how do I get the breakthrough that I'm looking for? Breakthrough is what you need, because once you break through, you will move to the next level. And trust me, guess what happens? You're going to hit the same plateaus, different issues perhaps, maybe the same, but likely some different ones will come up. And then what happens? You need to work with thinking partners and a mentor to go what? Break through to the next level. That is why I work with clients long term, because we are constantly in that cycle of saying, what's working now? How do we fine tune it? And I'm not one of those business mentors that says there's one way to build your business and it's this. Not at all. I said there's a lot of ways to build business, but those 3 foundations of audience, marketing and messaging, and your offer have to be there to keep raising you to the next level, to keep saying, let's fine tune the process, to solve the current problems. Because if you don't, every day that happens, you're running the risk of not achieving the business that you want, not creating the impact you want, not creating the income you want. And is that an acceptable answer? Right now, if you keep doing the things, that's what you're saying to yourself, is I am doing good enough instead of doing an exceptional effort. rise to the occasion, raise your standard, and seek help because you cannot see the forest for the trees in your own business. That's why mentorship is the ultimate accelerator. That is the biggest advantage of working specifically with us at Clear Acceleration. We're going to lay the foundations, build the gaps, help you iterate, and think, apply, iterate, and keep repeating that so you keep leveling up your business. The third reason why you might not be seeing consistent client growth is you know what to do. You are simply not showing up consistently to do that. And compounding is the eighth wonder of the world. It is not what you do occasionally that creates success in your business. It is what you do consistently. And consistency is about your own choice of speed. You don't have to be doing things 7 days a week. I tell people really candidly, I built my first business an hour a day. It's an hour. Find it. If this is a priority for you, you must be the engine. And this is an exercise where, before you invest with resources, you need to get really clear. Why are you doing this? And I will tell you a hint here. Many of us think our whys are external. They're, for our children, for our spouses, for something greater than the outside. That honestly can start you, but it won't keep you in the game. You have to get clear that this is for you internally non-negotiable. And sometimes I do start mini sessions with clients because they're like, I don't know why I'm doing this. I can't articulate it. I am waiting for motivation. And motivation, I tell you, will come and go. And especially if you're in a dark period, that motivation is harder to find. It's like seriously in the witness protection program. But what I tell my clients and why mentorship is awesome is that you will get committed. You decide what kind of commitment you need. You choose your speed. But showing up is off the table. It's a given. From there, it's what will we do? And what I'm going to encourage you to do, whether you work with me or just take this and run, is go to those recognition. Business 101, 2 things predict your revenue. How many people of the right kind are you meeting that have a potential need for your solution or can build a network that introduces you to the audience? How many offers are you making? And then once you get really clear that that's what you measure and track, go to your foundations. Where are your gaps? And once you identify them, you need to get honest and be the engine that says, I'll solve this. Because they are solvable problems. All 3 of those reasons you're not where you want to be are solvable. Q2, the most dangerous quarter. If you don't solve this today and take the action and feel lit like a fire from listening to this podcast, Amplify Your Marketing Message, you are going to head straight off to the cliff. And I will tell you, it will break my heart. Getting to Q4 and saying, next year is going to be my year is avoidable. I will tell you, one of the biggest reasons why Q1 is the biggest quarter of my year is because all the people that watched us last year are going, I have watched your business go. I have seen you accelerate. I see you on all kinds of stages. I see you working your plan. I see you doing new things. I see you taking risks. And I did nothing. And I really should have worked with you. My answer to that is always, so what do you want to do now? And the answer is, lock arms, let's go. This is a non-negotiable. Well, my friends, that invitation will be on the table in December and January if there's capacity in the business. But don't wait. This is my rallying cry to you. Don't wait. Q2 is the most dangerous quarter. It is absolutely solvable. Every day counts. You need to dial in and understand the business fundamentals. You need to identify your gaps. And if what is you're doing right now is busy but not creating client growth, you have to take a course correction. If you're not sure what that course correction is, let's talk. If you know what it is, here's my invitation. Everything you want is on the other side of fear. Do it. Do it. If you're Mel Robbins fans, count backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. Just take the action. It does not have to be perfect. People need what you're looking to serve them on. Serve at the highest level. Get out there, grow your business. And I invite you to have a business accelerator session. You can come to one of our events. We run our webinars on how to scale and attract high-paying clients consistently. But if you know you need help now, don't wait for the webinar. Let's book a conversation. You can do that on my website. I would love to help support you. It is taking what you're doing now, amplifying it, improving the results, improving the predictability and helping you feel confident that you can make better decisions more quickly to create the business you want without burning yourself out, without working 24/7. It's possible. Come spend some time in our ecosystem. Be sure to subscribe for this episode and for future. Make sure you put the bell on and be a regular community member on Amplify Your Marketing Message. I am your host, Christine Campbell Rapin. I want you to create impact. I want you to love your life. And I want you to know every problem you face in business, everyone, is solvable. If you need some help, a mentor can be the ultimate accelerator. I'll see you on our next episode.